Sorry.
First,
Lafayette City Council, please stand. We have guests here today
Oh, yes.
who are going to participate in our meeting. Mr. Mayor?
Ladies, you want to come on up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Eileen Hessian was going to be here tonight to help with this, but she is not feeling well, and I understand you did some things with her down at the Legion after you girls had attended Girls State, is that correct? So we're very proud of you, and we've got some things for you after you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, okay? All right.
Yes,
Tonight? Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, the American Legion Auxiliary Hoosier State Girls.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So would
Thank you so much.
Would one of you like to spend just a couple minutes and tell us a little bit about your experience?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Guess I'm gonna be the only one to talk. So my name's Natalia Madrano. So I wasn't really selected by my school. I go to CC, so it's a really small school. It actually wasn't something that was talked about, so I had to bring it up to my counselor. And so I guess I was the only one from my school going. But there was a lot of people from Jeff and like Harrison and different schools. So basically the students get picked by their teachers and counselors, I assume, and we all go to, this year was held at Trine University in Angola, so it was like 3 hours away from here. So basically it was just like a whole bunch of girls pretending to be this like mock government thing, and we all learned how cities worked, how counties, and then at the state level, how everything worked like that. And we got to role play one day, and we were assigned roles, we got to run for spots, and then we got elected. There was a lot of spots that you can pick. There was a lot for the city, a few for the county, and then there was like the main state ones which were like the most like popular ones that people were trying to run for. So yeah, for my experience, I had a lot of fun. Like I really enjoyed my time there. It was just a week, but it felt like months that I was there. Like each day we were full. Each day we were like, our schedule was packed with things to do. We woke up at 6 a.m. to have breakfast, and then from there we had like a fun full day of like meetings, city meetings, county meetings, and then a whole bunch of like pep rallies, and we had a pep rally. It was so much fun. It was just like we kind of became really close by the time that we were done with this week. We spent a lot of time together, so obviously that brought us close, very close together. But I think the most important thing was we learned a lot more about how cities and counties and just state level like government works together and how they work together, and to how just the government works. And it was really interesting because, we kind of knew going into it, like how some of it worked, but we kind of dived in deeper and we kind of learned a lot more than what was just at the surface, which is really interesting. So I had a really good time. You guys had a good time too, I guess. But yeah,
That's all we're getting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to come up here? We have a few things for you. This is Cindy Murray, our city clerk. So we have the city flag that she's putting together for you there in the base. Kind of commemorate your time there and being here this evening. Okay, so that's our city flag. And then this is the official pin of the city. We wanted you to have one of those. And then this is from the work that Cindy and others did with developing the city flag with the Mayor's Youth Council. This is a flag pin also. So you'll have a flag pin to go along with the other city pin. And on the front here explains what the different colors and everything mean of the city flag. It was designed by youth in the community. So we just wanted to give you a few things, again, to let you know how proud we are of you, and we're glad that you did learn a lot. That's very important that young people do learn and understand how their government works, and I hope you will encourage other girls to attend in the future. And I think that's important to get as many young people involved as possible. So a little memento of that and your time here at the City Council meeting tonight. So congratulations and thank you.
Ladies, I hope this isn't a letdown. Madam Clerk?
Clinker.
Here.
Nargi. Here. Snyder.
Present.
Reynolds.
Present.
Weiss. Allersmeyer.
Here.
Williamson.
Here.
Downing.
Present.
Brown.
Here.
Quorum present.
Started a trend.
Okay, on to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved as communicated. Presentation and disposal of claims.
There are none.
Presentation of petitions and communications.
There are none.
Reports of city officers on file with the city clerk's office.
Fleet maintenance monthly June. Renew department monthly June. Waterworks department monthly June.
On to ordinances for second reading.
Ordinance 2022-23. An ordinance to amend ordinance 2022-04, a technical correction.
Pleasure of the council.
I move we
Clinker.
hear ordinance 2022-23 on second reading.
Mr. Snyder.
I will second that motion.
Very good. Tonight, we have second reading for this technical correction to our historic preservation ordinance. As you recall, earlier this year, we adopted an ordinance that allows for conservation districts as a local historic district option. It's a lesser level of a local historic district. Tonight, in just a few minutes, you'll be considering the final adoption of our first conservation district. In preparing for that first application, it was discovered that in the original ordinance, there was a technical error with regard to when the conservation district will expire. So this ordinance is correcting that. It does clarify that a conservation district remains in effect for 3 years. And at the end of the 3-year period, so that'd be 3 years from tonight's date, if you approve the conservation district, it elevates to a full local historic district unless the property owners within the conservation district submit a petition asking to remain a conservation district. So that just cleans it all up.
Are there any questions for the council on ordinance 2022-23? Are there any questions from the public on ordinance 2022-23? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Clinker.
Aye.
Nargi.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Allersmeyer.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
Thank you. On to ordinance 2022-24.
An amendment to ordinance 2010-11, inclusion of certain property in the local Centennial Trinity Historic District in the city of Lafayette, Indiana.
Pleasure of the council.
I move we hear and approve ordinance 2022-24 on final reading.
Second.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, John Collier from the Economic Development Department, and I'm here with 4 ordinances for you tonight for second reading.
Pull up a chair.
The first is to expand the existing Centennial Trinity Local Historic District to include 600 and 608 Ferry Street. This is St. John's Episcopal Church and the adjacent residence. This was reviewed by the Historic Preservation Commission back in November of '21, and they recommended approval, and we would appreciate your support of this as well.
Any question from the council? Any questions from the public on ordinance 2022, ordinance 2022-24?
Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion? You heard- Oh, yeah, we do. Sorry, that was me. Been up since 4 a.m. Come on.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. Shivering.
Madam Clerk?
Clinker.
Aye.
Nargi.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Allersmeyer.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
On to ordinance 2022-25.
An amendment to ordinance number 2010-11, inclusion of certain property in the local South 3rd Street Historic District in the city of Lafayette, Indiana.
Pleasure of the council.
Mr. President, I move to hear ordinance 2022-25.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the second opportunity to expand the South 3rd Street Local Historic District to include 330 South 3rd Street. Again, this was reviewed by the Historic Preservation Commission, and they recommended approval and request your approval as well. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the council? Any question from the public on ordinance 2022-25? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Clinker?
Aye.
Nargi?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Reynolds?
Aye.
Allersmeyer?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to ordinance 2022-26.
An amendment to ordinance number 2010-11 establishing a local St. Mary's 1519 Main Street Conservation District in the city of Lafayette, Indiana.
Pleasure of the council.
I move we hear ordinance 2022-26.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Okay, so this is, as Jackie mentioned a minute ago, the designation of our first conservation district. This is for 1519 Main Street, which you all know as the Fire Station Museum at the top of the Five Points Hill. The Historic Preservation Commission recommended approval at its June meeting, and they would appreciate your support for this one as well.
Any questions from the council? Are there any questions from the public on ordinance 2022-26? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Clinker?
Aye.
Nargi?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Reynolds?
Aye.
Allersmeyer?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
On to ordinance 2022-27.
An amendment to ordinance 2010-11 establishing a local South 9th Street, 226 South 9th Street Conservation District in the city of Lafayette, Indiana.
Mr. President, I move we hear and approve ordinance 2022-27.
Thank you,
Second.
ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you, ma'am.
this is the last one today. This is our second conservation district for 226 South 9th Street. The Historic Preservation Commission reviewed this at June meeting, and they recommended approval, and they would appreciate your support for this one as well.
Any questions from the council? There being none. Any questions from the public on ordinance 2022-26? Oh, excuse me, 27. Madam Clerk?
Clinker?
Aye.
Nargi?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Reynolds?
Aye.
Allersmeyer?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
Thank you.
On to ordinances for first reading. Ordinance 2022-28.
An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of Tippecanoe County, Indiana to rezone certain real estate from I-3 to GB, 3215 Imperial Parkway LLC petitioner.
Mr. President, I move to hear and approve 2022-28.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Evening, Kevin Riley with Riley, Teeter, and Schreier, representing the petitioner tonight. As mentioned, we are requesting a rezone of property at 3215 Imperial Parkway from I-3 to GB. The lot is located south of Brady Lane, and then the petitioner owns the lot immediately adjacent to the north, which is also zoned GB. Petitioner intends to operate an auto repair shop on this property. No new construction is anticipated, though, at this time. It's our opinion that GB is appropriate for this site because the adjacent property is GB, and there are also 5 other lots across the street on Brady that were recently rezoned to GB, if you recall, the BET rentals, and then the property that has Twin City Electric were all rezoned to GB here within the past couple of months. So we think that GB is appropriate for this site. Just a reminder, with the previous APC staff report for BET rentals, it was noted that GB zoning is a better fit for these smaller lots than industrial. So we're seeking to rezone. In this case, the property is roughly an acre in size, which is smaller than the lots that were rezoned for the BET rentals. So again, we think the general business is appropriate. The Area Plan Commission approved the rezone at its July meeting with a vote of 14-1, and we request your approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Yes.
I see the staff thought I-3 was not appropriate, or GB wasn't appropriate, but they suggested I-1 or I-2. What would be your arguments against that rather than the I-3?
Well, one, I think GB is more appropriate. You've got the GB right next door with the gas station. You've got GB across the street. I know that staff looks at the comprehensive plan. Our opinion is that comprehensive plan, at least for that area, is subject to change, and the change that we're seeing is general business in that area. So that would be our argument.
Mr. President, if I can add to that, I spoke also at the meeting, and as this started a few months before, The city was approached, the mayor and I talked a little bit. I went out and walked this area and looked at it, and he's correct. It's on a private drive. At first, we thought we were going to need a curb cut, which we don't. So it's on a private lane, or it's on a drive that goes back that is actually blacktopped, and this building does fit the GB. So I spoke in favor, as we spoke to the mayor and had talked about, and we come to a conclusion. We thought that in behalf of the city that this would fit.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions from the council?
I would just, kind of a continuation of my previous question. I know GB doesn't have any, I don't think they have any fencing or anything. Does I-1 or I-2 have fencing or barrier concerns that this repair shop would need, or are they planning on putting up any fencing for containing cars or?
No, but if they redevelop the site, if they were to build onto the building or tear the building down and build a new one, then we've got a buffer yard requirement that we
Okay.
have to meet.
Yeah.
Kind of still the same owner that owns the gas station in front, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay,
I don't know if it's the same company, but same common
Yeah,
ownership.
same
Common
common
owner.
owner,
Okay.
yes, okay.
that makes it.
And it has here that comprehensive plan was passed in April of 1987, so it's been quite a while. So it
Yes.
sort of makes sense that things do change.
Yeah.
Especially in that area.
Yes, in that area, and if it's
Yeah.
more general business, then yeah, that
And a
makes
big-
sense.
A big part of this was with the GB that we did across the street.
Right, right, too.
Not
Yes,
2 or 3 months ago.
That makes sense, yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the public on ordinance 2022-28? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Blinker.
Aye.
Nargi.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Allersmeyer.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
On to ordinance 2022-29.
An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of Tippecanoe County, Indiana, Uzo Amendment Number 105.
Mr. President, I move we hear and approve ordinance 2022-29.
Second.
Ready for it? Okay.
So this is an amendment, number 105 to the zoning ordinance that deals with zoning violations and enforcement. This ordinance change primarily benefits Tippecanoe County because the city of Lafayette does our zoning ordinance enforcement through our Ordinance Violation Bureau. In the county, it is primarily done through the responsibility of their county building commission. So this amendment will provide some additional tools and flexibility for the county to enforce zoning. It also allows for a more administrative procedure so that there is not as much outside legal counsel needed for the county to enforce zoning regulations.
Are there any questions from the, from the council on ordinance 2022-29? Any question from the public on ordinance 2022-29? Madam Clerk?
Blinker.
Aye.
Nargi.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Allersmeyer.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
On to ordinance 2022-30.
An ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance, Tippecanoe County, Indiana, Uzo Amendment Number 106.
Pleasure of the council.
I move we hear and approve ordinance 2022-30.
Second?
Thank you.
Okay. This Uzo amendment does make an amendment to the permitted use table regarding towing services and impound lots. Currently, those towing services and impound lots do not have their own specific permitted use table, and they fall under automotive services except repair, which are currently allowed in GB, HB, I-1, and I-2. The APC that was approached by a realtor inquiring about an I-3 zoned property and whether or not a towing business could be supported, and it was discovered that I-3 was actually not a permitted zone for the towing services and impound lot. So what this amendment does is it provides a special, or not a special, but a own separate use for towing services and impound lots. For towing services, they would now be allowed in where there's no impound lot, GB would still be GB, HB, I1, I2, but we'll add I3. For impound lots, what this does is adds the I3 zoning as well, but also keeps the general business zoning. So right now, a towing service or an impound lot could occupy a GB zoned lot. So today, if someone came in, they could go ahead and establish one of those businesses in the GB lot. So what this amendment does is it expands and allows the I3 zoning, which was not previously permitted, but it does keep the GB zoning for impound lots. And the APC staff's reason for that is there are several impound lot businesses currently existing in the county that are located on general business zoning. And so by allowing both GB and I3, it will not make these currently conforming uses non-conforming uses. So, and this did pass, the staff did recommend approval, and it passed APC 15-0.
So if you have the towing and salvage on the same site, it's I3.
So if it's yes, I mean.
Gotta be I3.
Well, if you're talking about, there's a difference between impound lots and junkyards.
Salvage,
So,
junkyard,
yeah, so a junkyard is currently only permitted in I3, and that is a facility where you're going to have them scrap vehicles and parts for resale, accumulate other junk, basically. It's a junkyard. An impound lot is for the purposes of when a towing company tows a vehicle and it is stored there pending its final resolution and turned over to an insurance company or things like that.
So if you have the salvage and towing, you
So
have
the
to have
salvage, so
higher-
yeah, so for the junkyard, you would still have to maintain an I3 zoning designation.
Gotcha.
Are there any other questions from the
And that
council?
would also come back to the council if we were to approve it even after it come out of the APC, correct?
If you were to rezone, if somebody were to request a rezone,
From
yeah, I
the-
mean-
Add the I to the GB, is that,
to add the I to the GBs.
can they do that?
Yeah, this just adds the I, so this adds I3 as a permissible zone
Okay.
for impound and towing services.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other, any other questions from the council? Are there any questions from the public on ordinance 2022-30? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Blinker,
Aye.
Nargi,
Aye.
Snyder,
Aye.
Reynolds.
All right.
Hallersmeyer.
Aye.
Williamson.
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
Ordinance number 2022-31.
An ordinance for appropriation of a local option highway user tax funds, County Wheel Tax Fund number 2490.
Mr. President, I move we hear and approve ordinance number 2022-31.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the council, before you have the wheel tax appropriation ordinance that we do every year. This year, we will be looking to appropriate $950,000 that will go towards paving. And Cindy, did you see the list that came out in time to make them a copy? Okay.
I've been down here since 4 o'clock.
Oh, with the Boy Scouts, I forgot. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to do is, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, is take just a moment to talk about the paving a little bit, and then we can go into the vote of this, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead, sir.
So, as you know, it was a difficult winter, and we try to stay up on the paving. So we are doing, in case you haven't noticed, quite a bit of paving. So certainly substantially more than this $950,000 will cover. It will be up in the millions. So you see some of the big projects that we're working on, which is 9th Street and 18th Street from literally one end of the city to the next. But we're also working on several other projects using various funds to get significant roadways done this year. So I'm going to go through those just a little bit to give you and the public an overall idea. And I want to thank Dan Kroll and his team. We are paving a lot of the work in-house to try to save money, and because the other paving companies are very busy, and so they come and go, and they have other jobs, and the milling machine comes and goes, and so we have to really work diligently to try to make all this work out. And they're doing a great job, because it's not as simple as it might seem, because we don't want to mill too much and too early, so people drive on it too long. That's not good for the sub base. But we also we want to mill enough that when we can pave, we can get a good run, but the milling machine might not, we don't own it, might not come back for a few weeks. There's also curbs that you'll notice we're putting in new curbs in some areas, so we have to time it with the concrete crews when they can get in to do the curbs. And in many places, you probably noticed, we've put in a lot of handicap accessible corners and curb ramps. And so those crews have to be there to do that work also. So you have to time the milling, time the paving, time the curbs, time the curb ramps, and then try to time the striping, all based on if it rains or doesn't rain and when people are available. And I just want to say, I think between Milestone and our crews, they're doing a super job staying on top of that. And then we're still timing it too with, as you know, Teal Road, which is a state project, is being done at the same time. And so we only get so close to the intersections. So just a lot of work, but it's going very well actually, and we're getting to do a lot. So I'll just go through this. 18th Street from Schuyler Avenue to Veterans Memorial Parkway, including 7,000 feet of new curb. 9th Street from Greenbush to the city limits. 29th Street from Greenbush to Vinton. Vinton from Elmwood to 29th. Cul-de-sacs in Jessico Hills. Large portions of Four Seasons neighborhood east of 18th Street at the 18th Street and Ortman intersection. All of Elston Road within the city limits. Beck Lane from the old US 231 to Old Romney Road. Old Romney Road from Teal Road West to Beck Lane. Main Street from 7th to 8th. 8th Street from Main to Columbia. Creasy from Greenbush to Eisenhower. Eisenhower Road from city limits to Creasy Lane. Cassuth Street from 4th to Earl Avenue will probably start this year, but not be finished. In Dover Estates off Twickenham, we did 11,000 square feet of concrete patching on those roads and 47 curb ramps in that neighborhood. We've done 59 curb ramps in the Lincoln and historic Jeff neighborhoods, and we will do 29 additional curb ramps in the Miller neighborhood, and we have done 174,000 square yards of rejuvenator sealant on our streets. So the crews have been working diligently to work on the roads, and they've got a lot done in a short period of time. I also, just as a reminder to everybody in the public, it's a very compressed window. The asphalt plants typically open in April, and they usually close sometime in November, maybe get you to December, but it's not good to pave that late anyway. So you have a window to get all of that work done while those asphalt plants are open, and so is everybody else in Indiana, needing all the labor and everything. But again, hats off to our crews. So we'd appreciate your support on appropriating this $950,000 from the Wheel Tax Fund, which is going to help get all these projects completed.
One question, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
At what point is it going to make sense for us to get our own milling machine?
They're in the millions.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're in the
They're
millions.
expensive as, buy a used one.
I don't know of any city that owns their milling machine. I don't even know if Indianapolis owns their own. We have a small milling machine that we can attach to do small, but that one that they bring in that can just chew up
Yeah. That goes 5
anything,
mile an hour.
it's unbelievable. I mean,
I don't know, I've seen it before. It's scary.
yeah, so,
Kinda like a
you know, so far we've been able to make it work. The problem with it is, right, it's for so many months out of the year, you'd use it a lot, and then for 7, 8 months, it literally sat in a building, right? You can only pave, there's only so many roads to mill, so it would take a long, long time for the return on that investment. It's kind of the same thing with the, we've talked about in the past, should we buy our own grinder to grind our own limbs and our own leaves? And you know, those are almost $1.5 million. And they're also, we've learned, they're very, kind of like a milling machine. It's pretty specialized, and so are those. It's dangerous. And if you don't have people that do it every day for a living and go through training on it over and over, like, Milestone and Reith Riley, they pave and this stuff for it. That's what they do, right? And they work with that big machine, and that's what they do. That's not something, we're pretty efficient. So the guys that are working on the roads and doing different things are also the people that at other times are picking up leaves, limbs, helping with recycling, trash, crack sealing, maybe tearing down a house. So we can save money on a house tear down. They're knocking down a house for us. They do a lot of different things. So I think you'd have to be, from a safety standpoint, you got to be a little bit cognizant of the training aspect and all of that.
Okay.
But thank you for your question.
Well, thank you, sir. Are there any questions from the council?
I'd just like to say I thank the city for what they've done and the street department and whoever's involved, because they're doing a good job with all the traffic we got. They've done an excellent, and we've all heard complaints until it's finished, and then we are told, oh, that's a great job, so, it comes and goes, so.
Yes. I love hearing that because they complain while it's going on, but after it's done, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. That's,
Any other questions or comments from the council? Any questions from the public on ordinance 2022-31? Madam Clerk?
Clinker?
Aye.
Nargi? Aye. Snyder?
Aye.
Reynolds?
Aye.
Allersmeyer?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0.
I will need a motion to set a public hearing on this ordinance for Tuesday, September 6th at 6:01.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ain't none.
I sent you guys, I just emailed you guys the paving list too.
Okay.
If you would, thank you.
We are going to get some stuff. Moving on to resolutions.
Resolution 2022-21, a resolution to amend the City of Lafayette Community Development Block Grant and Lafayette Housing Consortium Home Program 1-year annual action plan for 2019.
Pleasure of the council.
I move we hear resolution 2022-21.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ma'am.
Michelle Reynolds, Lafayette Housing Authority. So I'm here today. The City of Lafayette received additional funding through the reallocation of the CARES Act for the Community Development Block Grant, also known as CDBG-CV, in the amount of $157,382. These funds are made available to respond to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Usually we don't have this many amendments, but this money came in late, so we're going to use that to do some public facility improvements at LUM, a healthy shelter initiative. We'll also do public infrastructure improvements, sidewalks and ramps. We'll do food insecurity through social services with Meals on Wheels. And then we'll have administrative and planning as well.
Are there any questions from the council? Are there any questions from the public on resolution 2022-21? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Clinker?
Aye.
Nargi?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Reynolds?
Aye.
Allersmeyer?
Aye.
Williamson?
Aye.
Downing?
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Thank you.
On to reports of standing committees. Reports of special committees. Is there a report by the mayor?
Have a report, just a quick heads up, I guess, for lack of a better term. So we're going to start the conversion of the council chambers probably here pretty soon to make it, if we should ever have to do the hybrid meeting thing again, that we will be able to do it legally, the way that you'll have to do those going forward if we need to. But it's, you know, you're gonna have a screen in front of you and everything, each person will have their own. But it's gonna require a lot of wiring, we're gonna have to take out some of the backs of where you're setting, and we'll put them back and you won't see them, but it's gonna be a little bit of a process, so we may need your patience over the next couple meetings till we get those all put in, but we'll be better going forward, and then if we need to do some type of hybrid meeting, we can meet the statutes for being able to do that in this room. So just kind of a heads up that it's coming. Hopefully it'll go smooth and it'll all be there and you won't even realize it happened except for that nice little screen in front of you. But I've been around a long time. That probably won't happen. So,
Mr. Mayor, will it still be in here or will we be upstairs in Board of Works or?
No, it's in
It'll
here.
still be here? Okay. All right. Okay.
Reports of councilmen? Yes, sir.
I did not hear the young girls' names, the other two girls, where they're from, so forth. I was wondering if they'd mind giving us their names.
Drive up and holler.
Please?
But they're getting out easy.
Unless you're on the witness protection
please say
program, we don't
something.
want you to say.
I'm Montserrat Aquino. I go to Jeff, and I really love this experience. Like, when I left, me and my friends didn't come, but we were crying because we did not want to leave. Like, and I feel like I said this when we went to the other meeting in the Legion, but I feel like it should be talked more. Nobody knows about this in our school until they say you should participate in this. So I feel like girls should like know more about this, and it shouldn't be, well, it's select, but a lot more girls should go because even if you're not into it, you still learn a lot about how the government works. It's just a really fun experience. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nam and I am from Jefferson High School. I want to thank you for letting me and the other girls be here today to attend this meeting. Well, I've learned quite a little bit how this meeting works, and well, my experience at the Legion at the Hoosier Girls Day, it was very fun, and I get to learn quite a lot, and I met like so many amazing people there. Like it was the director, but she was super nice to me, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Public comment?
Lloyd Wells, 3717 Rawlings Drive. I want to applaud the city's work they've done on, well, particularly North Creasy. That's the one I have to deal with on a daily basis. But for an elaborate project like was going on out there, there was a minimum of disruption, and they were very good about letting us in and out of our addition and so forth. And while I'm here, I want to congratulate you girls. And all these people in here work for us, okay? And that's what you're doing, is holding them accountable when you come here. And this is a very accountable group, so you know, you need to hold them accountable, but too many people don't. And I applaud you for starting down that path.
I'd like to make a comment and direct it to our guests. Ladies, so glad to see you here. So glad to see young people who are interested in what goes on in government, because this is how we spend your tax money. We get to make these decisions. What I would really like to see is one day, when I'm old and gray, come in here on a walker and stuff, that some of you are sitting in these seats. Because you don't have to be special to be here. You got to be smart, because every one of these people in these seats are smart people. But we'd rather have the smart people in here than the dumb ones, because they make bad decisions and waste your money. But I would encourage you to continue to hold an interest in your local government, especially your local government, because we are the seat. We are where things happen that affect your life on a daily basis. You don't call the Senate when you got potholes in front of your house. they call us. And as I said, please, if you feel the need, run. We need good people. Thank you. Any more public comment? Mr. Clinker, we'll take that.
Move for adjournment, Mr. President.
Second?
All in favor, say bye.
Aye. Your sisters with my sisters. They were
A lot of parts.
both older and younger.
Lots of moving parts. Oh.